Ladies and gentlemen, the year was 2013. GTA 5 was just released. Graphics cards had achieved the stunning feat of having 8 gigabytes of VRAM for the first time, and we were promised there would be flying cars in the future.
What?
12 years later in 2025, no flying cars, no GTA 6, and brand new GPUs are being released with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. That's right, despite the public outcry over how 8 gigabytes would not be enough in 2025, Nvidia gave 2 middle fingers to consumers and released the 5060.
You disgust me.
This was AMD's chance to seize the reins and destroy Nvidia once and for all by just sticking 12 gigabytes of VRAM minimum into their cards. And they airballed badly and released the 9060 XT 8 gigabyte. The problem is, 30% of the graphics cards on Steam hardware right now all have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and given these are the only new GPUs from these soulless corporations for $300 or less, most people will buy these cards, including our stupid dog Hank, who got 3 of them.
You cannot be serious!
Today we are going to be pitting the 5060 up against the 9060 XT 8 gigabyte in an ultra budget AM4 build, building a third ultra budget 5060 on the AM5 platform to see if it performs better, and importantly determining which of these bad boys will sell first. And spoiler alert, one of these builds was legitimately the quickest sale I ever had, showing that while us PC enthusiasts yearn for the mines and 32 gigabytes of VRAM, the general public craves 8 gigabytes. Oh, and I also built these things with my wiener.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man!
Wiener dog, mate, get this video to 1,000 likes and we are buying this slinker a 5090. Let's go!
Oh my god.
Before we get started, go check out my gaming channel, Weenie Tech Games. Link is in the description. We've just started our F1 My Career on F1 25, but if you're not into that, mate, we are also doing some flipping over there, but not PC flipping, mate. Oh, no, 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 no. Car dealer simulator, baby. It's seriously addictive. Washing cars feels like heaven, and we are crushing it way harder than we do with the PC flips. And of course, Weenie is there for every step of the way. Look at him, mate. Go check it out after this and support his dreams of selling a 1990 Toyota Corolla with 400,000 kilometers on them. Alright, mate, I was contemplating not doing this video because I didn't really want to be selling 5060s or 9060 XT PCs with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, but every PC flipper right now is selling old 3070 Ti's and much worse GPUs with 8 gigabytes or less, plus the general public will likely turn to these pre-builds for $1,000 or more that contain a single stick of 16 gigabyte RAM and other junk, so we may as well try and build something half decent for a much better price for them if they are just going to be looking for these cards anyway. And as we mentioned on Steam hardware, 30% of users are using 8 gigabytes of VRAM or less, mate. So if you have a problem with us selling these, yell at Hank, mate. It was his idea. He bought 3 of them for God's sake. First off, we are starting with 2 micro ATX AM4 builds, trying to build this thing as cheap as possible, and we hit the jackpot scoring these Asus Prime B550M A Wi-Fi boards for $79 open box from Micro Center. We got 2 of them. They're pretty basic boards, 2 M.2 slots, no USB-C, pretty basic VRAMs, average rear I/O, but this is a budget build, buddy, and this thing will get the job done. Now, the CPU we are starting with is the Ryzen 5 3600, mate, and I can already hear you screaming through your computer screens about using such an old processor. Mate, this thing was the GOAT of PC flipping just a year ago. 6 cores and 12 threads from 2019, and this thing paired unbelievably with a 4060. But you can all calm your farm, mate. Later on when we tested it in Call of Duty and Fortnite, we were definitely bottlenecking these ultra powerful GPUs, mate, so we switched it out to a 5700 X3D. These are literally the last 2 that we had that we got for $120 off AliExpress in October late last year, mate. RIP AliExpress and thank you, Trump. These things used to be cheap as chips, now they're about $300. Honestly, we wanted to use a 5600, which would have paired just fine, but we had no stock left, and they are so expensive now, and we don't have AliExpress anymore. God, I miss you so much, China. Anyway, enough yapping. Line the triangle up in the bottom left-hand corner of the CPU with the triangle of the CPU socket. Throw it in, making sure you don't bend any pins. Latch it back up with your wiener and make sure it's in nice and tight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Next up, the RAM, mate. For our white 5060 build, we are going with this Timatec conduit 32 gigabytes of DDR4, 3200 mega transfers per second, whereas the black build, Team Group, same specs, $44 each, an absolute bargain. You can get them any day of the week off Amazon and both sticks work great. Line the groove up of the RAM with the groove of the RAM sockets, place them into sockets 2 and 4 and push them down with your wiener, making sure you hear a click.
Very nice.
Next up, the SSDs, M.2 from Kingston, 1 terabyte, 6,000 megabytes per second. Fastest and most reliable budget SSD we work with on the channel, but just get any Gen 4 SSD as long as your board supports it, over 5,000 megabytes per second and 1 terabyte, and you are good to go. Grab the M.2s with your glizzy, get him to throw them into the M.2 slot. You should hear a click and it should stand up to attention.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Your board should come with these screws for the SSD. Use them to secure the M.2 and Barack Obama is your father. Your board is looking sexy.
Yeah, baby.
Mate, we are doing budget builds, which means one thing. Air cooling, baby. We are so back. We live for air cooling. The white build is the Assassin King 120 SE from Thermalright, and the black is the SE 214 XT from ID Cooling. These things get the job done and are between $16 to $18 every day on Amazon. I cannot recommend them enough. Remove the brackets that are holding the backplate onto the motherboard. And now we need the mounting hardware, but I can't seem to find them anywhere, mate. Good Lord, Hank's stolen it. Yeah, silly slinker, give it here before we start wrestling.
What?
All right, here they are, mate. Grab the red plastic standoffs. They are for AM4 motherboards. The blue ones are for Intel. Place them over the screw holes and secure the mounting brackets in this orientation. And here we go, mate. The Daily Mail said this is the worst segment ever to be put onto TV. That's right, double application of thermal paste. This may look easy, but it's actually harder than a diamond in an ice storm, but we have the coordination of an Olympic gymnast, mate. Let's give it a little X marks the spot. Look at that, mate. An insane amount of thermal paste. You do not need that much, but we yearn for the paste. For God's sake, remove these protective stickers or Professor X will try to control Hank's mind. Realize he has no brain, his head will expand and he will explode. Screw each air cooler onto these mounting brackets little by little each side until it's on tighter than a nun's. Alright, mate, this is a child-friendly channel. Chill out. And as always, they come with these boring R fans. Get this nonsense out of here. Infinity! If people are buying 8 gigabytes of VRAM, then they better be getting at least 4 Infinity fans in their case. Links for these Infinity fans and other options are down below, and now they are all hairy because they've been on Hank. But mate, Hank is now a celebrity and people are paying thousands of dollars for his hair, so this is an absolute steal for whoever's buying it. Insert these metal prongs into the fan as so, pull them over into the fin stack and bing bang boom, your board is good to go. And look at this, mate. This dude is bored as hell. He's gotten way too good for this channel. He's used to building with 5090s and 32 gigabytes of VRAM, so he told me to bugger off.
Bruh.
But we have one more build to go, mate, so it looks like Weenie Man is stepping up to the plate. I can hear you all booing behind your computer screens. And for this one, we are going with AM5, baby. I wanted to see whether an AM5 build would perform better and sell quicker than an AM4 one, so like an absolute spud, I didn't get one 5060, mate. Nah, I got 2 of them. What is wrong with us? But we are going for the cheapest, most effective AM5 ever, so starting off with the board, mate. MSI Pro B560P Wi-Fi Micro Center open box for 219 bucks.
Oh, hell no.
I am just joking, mate. $63, absolutely insane deal. It came with an IO shield and Wi-Fi antennas and not a scratch on it. Probably our greatest find ever in terms of motherboards. And for the CPU, mate, Ryzen 5 8400F. We got this thing off AliExpress in March for an even more incredible 78 bucks, mate. This thing would have changed PC flipping for everyone because it would have made AM5 affordable, but those days are gone. Why can't you be friends with China, Trump? 6 cores, 12 threads, not as good as the 7500F or the 7600 that we regularly use, but half the price, mate, and will pair nicely with the 5060. Unlatch the socket so it goes flying. Check the pins to make sure they're not bent because the pins are actually on the AM5 motherboard, where for AM4 they're on the CPU. Match the triangle in the top left corner of the CPU with the triangle on the motherboard and chuck it into the socket and latch it like so, making sure it's in nice and secure. Weenie has come from the dead to push the socket down. Thanks, mate. Hopefully we're not boring you too much. Latch it back up and the protective cover will come flying off and you are good to go. Next up, the RAM, mate, and talk about changing the game for AM5 builds. King's Bank, 32 gigabytes, 6,000 mega transfers per second, DDR5 for an astonishing 69 bucks.
Nice.
This is incredible for PC flipping, mate. They are a reputable brand from China, and this is our second time using it, and it works like a charm. We love you, mate. Throw it into sockets 2 and 4 and push it down until you hear it click.
Great success.
This motherboard comes with the heatsink for the SSD. Remove it with your swanky electric screwdriver. Link is down below in the description. Grab your Kingston SSD and slam it into the M.2. You should hear it click and it should stand up to attention. Throw the heatsink back on and Master Chief as your long-lost uncle. You are good to go. Remove the backplate mount as shown previously. Throw the mounting hardware on. X marks the spot with the thermal paste. This paste is $7 off Amazon, mate, but just use the one that it comes with. We've misplaced it because we're an absolute idiot. If you are worried about the 8400F getting hot, don't, mate. This thing has a TDP of only 65 watts. And this cooler will keep your CPU chillier than your mother-in-law's heart after she introduced her daughter and your current girlfriend to the president of the debating club, Stanley, the master debater who won 15 national championships and took your girlfriend because you were a 6'5" loser who was 225 pounds of solid muscle and sits in his basement all day building PCs with his wiener. Why'd you make her leave me, Patricia? I mean, yeah, this cooler is definitely going to be cooling, all right. Anyway, mate, 2's a crowd, 3's a company, but this foursome right here is god tier, mate. We got the Glizzy on the left, we got our AM5 board smack bang in the middle, and we got our 2 AM4 boards sandwiching it, all on top of our 3 stunning cases, mate. And don't let your eyes deceive you. They be having that infinity inside them, baby. We are so back. But before we get to the cases, let's throw the cards in front of their respective builds. We got the 9060 XT, 8GB on the left, and the 2 5060s in the middle and the right, baby. Let's start off unboxing our 9060 XT. First off, AMD, just call it a 9060, mate. Having the XT 8GB and 16GB is straight up wrong, mate, and you're just trying to deceive people into buying the cheaper one who don't know any different. I know your game, mate. It's very similar to what Nvidia does with the 5060 Ti. Both of these companies make me sick. It's almost like these CEOs are in cahoots and are actually related or something like that. Surely that isn't the case, right?
No. Wait.
We went with this XFX model. Let's peel the sticker first. Mate, not our best peel, but it's definitely not our worst, and it's quite good for an AMD card. We've struggled with them in the past. Pretty stock standard card, mate. No ARGB, but 2 massive fans, so it should be cooling this thing nicely. $300 brand new. One of the 4 MSRP models available at the time, and to me, it was the best looking card, which is saying a lot because it has a face only a mother can love. But for God's sakes, mate, if you have the opportunity, just get the $350 16GB card. We've reviewed it previously, and it absolutely killed the 5060 Ti in price to performance. Next up, the Asus Prime RTX 5060. Again, brand new, $300, this time off Newegg. 3 fan design. Let's rip the sticker off it. Oh, baby, we are getting good at this. Again, not a bad design. We are an Asus glazer when it comes to motherboards, and I like the 3 fan design on this card.
What the dog doing?
And finally, the Gigabyte Aero 5060 all white. They have by far the best white cards on the market. This is $350 brand new, but do not buy it for that price, mate. As we've said, get a 9060 XT, 16GB brand new if you had $350 to spend. But I guess we got lucky with this card. We got it for $300 open box, mate. So we had to get it so we could go with the white aesthetic. Doesn't come with any stickers, so we're not doing any peeling, but it looks stunning, mate. We absolutely love it. Here they are all together. They are all the same length. The XFX card has a bit more girth and 2 massive fans.
And you know what else is massive?
Okay, let me get...
Sorry about the old meme, mate. Anyway, I just live for the Aero white design, mate, so that's my favorite card of all 3 here. Let me know down below, what is your favorite card? But despite 2 of these cards having 3 fans, they are small boys, about 1/4 the size of our tiny little glizzy here. But now it's time to introduce the cases, mate. We are starting off with the Micro ATX bad boys, Ruix OV502. Never heard of them, but they have 3 infinity fans, mate. We will take it. We got these off Amazon for $65 just because they had the infinity fans in, so we'll see whether or not they're worth building with in the future. But for the AM5 build, we had to take a trip down memory lane to the GOAT. I found this sitting in the corner of my garage from last October, mate, and we had to grab it for this build. These things used to be $52 off Newegg. Those were the days, mate. 3 infinity fans, USB-C, 2 USB 3s, tons of room to build in, ARGB fan hub, hands down the best value case we've ever worked with. It's now $69, mate. Nice. So the value's dropped off a bit, but still not a bad case at that price. Throw your IO shields into the case, then yeet all 3 motherboards in. Hand the ceremonial electric screwdriver to your glizzy. The link is in the description. And start screwing. Alright mate, a quick wiring with Weenie Man, starting with the USB-C, top right corner of the motherboard, just underneath the 24-pin connector. Place her in nice and gently and she should click into place, no problem. Next up, the F panel, mate, bottom right corner of the motherboard, and this is why Sama is the GOAT. This is a budget case, but the F panel is one cable, not 6 tiny ones. We love it, mate. Get the price back down to 52 bucks, I beg you. Throw it in nice and smoothly, and we move on to everyone's most hated USB 3 connector. You have to throw this in harder than the Undertaker tombstone pole driving one of his opponents. And whatever you do, don't bend the pins, mate, or those USB-Cs you used to love, yeah, mate, they are now in heaven. Finally, the HD audio, mate, don't forget her like we did from the last video. Bottom left-hand corner of the motherboard, get those rainbow puke cords in there nice and firm. Next up, the power supply, and we got 3 of these bad boys from 3 different companies. On top, Segotep GM 750 watt, fully modular, tier B on the PSU tiers list, and we picked this up last year for 65 bucks off Amazon on Black Friday. In terms of these tier B Segoteps, they only sell an 850 watt version, so RIP to this bad boy. In the middle, we have a Sama XF 750 watt that is fully modular. This came in a Newegg deal back on Black Friday, mate, so I have no idea what the price I paid for it was. And it is now out of stock, so RIP, mate. And finally, a Pevia 800 watts tier C on the PSU tiers list. We got yelled at for using a tier C power supply last week, mate, but these have been good to me. ZTT Builds and Jay's 2 cents have gone on record saying for any gaming PC, tier C is completely fine, but let me know down below, what is a good budget tier B power supply that we can use consistently for 65 bucks, mate? Because this Apevia for the price is god tier, and I've yet to have one of these fail on me. Hand the ceremonial screwdriver to your glizzy. My god, how rude, mate. The people are here to watch you, mate. They don't want to see my boring We're a PG channel, mate. Fine, throw these PSUs in harder than a Cristiano Ronaldo free kick and start screwing. Finally, throw your 24-pin connector in with a force of 1,000 waves and attach your 4-pin CPU connector to the top left corner of the motherboard. We forgot to record it, so here is some previous footage of it. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. If you thought Avengers Infinity War was the most action-packed movie you'd ever seen, think again, mate. Glizzy on top of both cases with double GPU insertion, and mate, we tried to fit one of these in our mouth while doing the other 2 with 2 hands. And get your mind out of the gutter, mate. I'm talking about GPUs here. All right, let's throw these 2 in. And there they are, mate. My shirt was in the way. Sorry about that. We had to move the camera far out to get this fat glizzy in the shot. But what an adrenaline rush. Seriously. Screw each of these into the side, making sure you hold them up to avoid GPU sag. Then throw the 8-pin PCIe connectors in. These extensions are from Okino. Link is down below in the description.
Yeah, baby.
And now, mate, this final insertion is going to be easier than a Sunday afternoon drive. The Hankster has his anxiety support violin hamster, and we've got our Asus 5060 going into our AM5 case. Find the top PCIe slot, unclip it, and let's chuck it in.
What the hell is even that?
What in the holy moly was that, mate? Actual proof this man is sabotaging the channel, trying to add some drama and make it harder for us to throw it into the GPU socket, but you've ruined the shot, mate. We love you, mate, but my god, you are making it tough to keep this channel going. Screw it in, holding the card up to avoid GPU sag. Throw in the 8-pin PCIe connector, and Leonardo DiCaprio is dating your 24-year-old stepsister, mate. You are good to go. Look at this, mate. 3 beautiful cases and then the weenie on top with his hamster. He has chewed that thing so bad, it doesn't even play the violin anymore, so we're gonna have to insert the sound ourselves. He absolutely loves that hamster, but not nearly as much as I love how these 3 beauties have turned out. Look at them, mate. We tried our best to cable manage them. Roast me down below if it is garbage. But enough yapping, mate. Let's turn these babies on.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
My God, mate. Our first time ever doing 3 builds at once, and I have fainted at the sheer beauty and grace of them. We have the 9060 XT representing Team Red and the black build, the Gigabyte 5060 Aero all-white angelic masterpiece representing white builds and Team Green, and then in the middle, mate, the Asus 5060 representing Team LGBTQ IJHG SQRT, mate. What a sight to behold, mate. This is true equality, and this channel is now woke as balls. Also, you know what I'm about to say. Infinity fans, mate. We absolutely love it. These cards may have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, but they also have 8 billion tons of infinity in them, mate. I would buy them just for that. I don't even care if I can't set my games to high quality. Let me know down below. Did we cook or are we cooked? I'm gonna guess you'll say that we're cooked because we have 8 gigabytes of VRAM. It's obviously not ideal in these bad boys, but we got the middle one on the AM5 platform, so it's easily enough for someone to just insert another graphics card and sell this one, mate. Trust me, it'll sell fast, as you'll see soon. And in the micro ATX cases, we ended up throwing in the 5700X 3Ds. So they have a very good system for upgrades as well. And surprisingly, AMD is still upgrading the AM4 platform. This thing is gonna go on forever. But why didn't we stick with the Ryzen 3600s? Well, we're gonna have to go to the benchmarks to discuss. Now, before we start, mate, I mentioned this in my last 2 videos, but I will stress this again because we got absolutely killed in our last one. I ain't no benchmarker. I find deals on PC parts, build them, make sure they run well, and then flip these bad boys for a profit. But proper in-depth benchmarks on these cards, along with their abilities to overclock and do all that crap, see the links I put down below. I simply just throw these games on the same resolution and graphics and measure their raw performance without upscaling or frame gen versus their performance at balls-to-the-wall settings with upscaling set to performance and frame gen set to max, mate, and then give my unprofessional opinion on them. Now, these cards are said to be targeted to 1080p, but it's 2025, mate, so we are throwing them on 1440p with high settings, no upscaling or frame gen, and right away, mate, we started out with the more CPU-intensive games, and lo and behold, mate, we were hitting 100% CPU utilization at a few different places, mate. Same story on Warzone, 1440p balanced settings with DLSS set to performance and frame gen on, and you can see we are hitting 100% CPU, so RIP to the Ryzen 3600, mate. You were a good one, and you were great with the 4060, but get the hell out of here, mate. Time for the 5700X 3D. Now, these benchmarks are going to be very quick because there was no real difference between the cards or the AM4 versus AM5 machine. Marvel Rivals on medium settings, no ray tracing on 1440p, no upscaling, and it actually ran really great on all 3 machines. It averaged about 100 FPS, and the VRAM stayed under 7 gigabytes, so it was very playable, mate. The 1% lows were very bearable. It wasn't very stuttery, but as soon as you go balls to the walls and put everything on high settings, ray tracing on, DLSS or FSR set to performance mode, and frame generation on, and you are hitting a VRAM limit, mate. It gets up to about 8 gigabytes, and while the game runs at an average of 168 frames per second, you get some crazy 1% lows, and it's very stuttery. So with regards to these machines on Marvel Rivals, you are either playing at medium settings, mate, or it is a mess. In terms of the AM5 platform and the 8400F, we didn't have any of those bottlenecks on Warzone or Fortnite, mate, and it ran exactly the same as the AM4 platform on Marvel Rivals in both settings, mate. VRAM limited on the really high settings and about 100 FPS and very smooth on 1440p medium. Moving on to Fortnite, and it runs like a dream on all 3 machines, mate. Again, no real difference between the cards, no more CPU bottlenecks, and we even get a cheeky win on the 5060, mate. It's literally down to a 1v1, and this guy disappears into thin air, and we get the victory royale. We were running around 200 FPS on every single machine, and it ran as smooth as eggs. Finally, Warzone ran much better when we changed the CPUs out. It increased from 89 FPS and a stuttery mess to around 135 FPS on the AMD machine with the 5700X 3D, and 118 and 124 FPS respectively on the 5060 AM4 and AM5 platforms. This was with no upscaling and frame generation on and balanced settings, and in these settings it didn't hit VRAM limits, mate, so it was very playable. But as soon as we cranked it up to balls to the wall with upscaling set to performance and frame generation on, we got those sneaky VRAM stutters again, mate. It said we were getting 200 FPS for all three machines, but it felt like we were running a 2. So overall, which card would I recommend? Definitely AMD, mate, but not the 9060 XT 8GB. Save the $50 and get the 16GB. Seriously, it's worth it. AMD has been a godsend, sending us 16GB cards for $350 brand new. Go watch my previous reviews on them. They run great, and price to performance with regards to availability as well. It wipes the floor with the 5060 Ti. Don't get me wrong, the 5060 and the 9060 XT 8GB cards ran well, and I think the way we price our machines out below, which you'll see soon, are worth it for people that are just getting into PC gaming and are playing these competitive shooters at 1080p. But if you're building your own PC, save the extra cash and get the 16GB, mate. I'm begging ya. Alright mate, time to analyze the cost of these builds. Starting with the AM4 builds, things really went off the rails when we threw the 5700 X3D in there, given that it was $120 compared to the 3060's $52. So overall, it cost us $763 for this machine, which is 1,050 Canadian maple syrups, 1,174 wallabies, 658 Euro truck simulators, 560 Geordie Shores, 65,636 Mahatma Gandhis, 43,222,000 Vietnamese Dolmars, 68,454,000 Lebanese Habibis, 2,817 Polish Fists of Fury, 107,379 Kenyan Lamu Islands, 1,938,000 Zimbabwean cricket teams, 110,860 Yuki Tsunodas, 3,414 Romanian Vlad the Impalers, 27,330 Turkish Airways, 6,030,000 Venezuelan nose clams, 1,143 Malaysian Alex Albons, 54,500 Russian Putins, 65,490 Bangladeshi Sheikh Mujiber Rahman, 43,390 Manny Pacquiao's, 0.001135 Bitcoin, 0.001193 Ethereum, 11,600,000 Indonesian Bali Bellies, 35,818 Spider Legs, 1,526 Squirrel Skins, and one less will for me to live, mate. Seriously, you do realize I can't speak the next day after reading these things. My voice is absolutely gone. Next up, the AM5 build. We actually built this for $40 cheaper, even though it's on the AM5 platform. So definitely go for this build if you can. Read the currencies yourself for this one, mate, or the video is going to go for 3 days. Bruh. So now we go to the sales, but we wanted it to be as fair as possible. So we actually listed all of these for $800, mate. So that's an extremely low profit for us, but it's the least we can do given we are selling 8GB cards. And given the AM4 machine has a 5700 X3D, $800 for each of these machines, hell of a deal. At the same time, we also had the 9060 XT 16GB available with the 7500F for a tiny bit more money. I think it was like $200, but nah, mate, they did not want any of that. They saw the current benchmarks we had and they yearned for the 8GB cards. So once again, I know you're watching this and I know you hate the 5060 and the 9060 XT 8GB, mate, but these are great deals for the PCs, and it showed because all three PCs sold on the same day. That's right, it's a three-way tie between the three machines. AMD and Nvidia ends in a draw, baby. I posted them all at 2 a.m. The AM5 bad boy was gone by 8 a.m., baby. It was insane. The 5060 AM4 machine soon followed on the same day, and then we didn't sell the 9060 XT physically until a few days later, but take a look at this, mate. He was buying it for his 12-year-old son, who's a Jalen Hurts fan, and he asked us to put an LCD AAO on it with Jalen Hurts on the cover. Is it overkill? Definitely, but Jalen Hurts is the GOAT, mate. Super Bowl champion. We're a Browns fan, but also an Eagles fan, mate, so we had to do it for him. It turned out great. So once again, we were going to tally all of our profits up, but we're running out of time, mate. This is a seriously long video, so we will do it eventually, I promise. The season finale is coming to an end soon, so we're going to do a big tally on that. And currently, it's all sitting in an Excel spreadsheet. happy, but let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the green, mate. Sales have been going terrific. And more importantly, Weenie Make 3 sale. Weenie get 2 toys, mate. And we got some beauties for him today. But before we do that, check out the drip, mate. I've got the Dachshund socks on one foot and the Aussie kangaroos on the other. The Weenie Man is irresistible. But now to the toys, mate. The first one, this teddy bear. Look at him. He wants it so bad. But the second one, it's this thing right here, baby.
What?
Let's give him both of them and see which one he chooses. And then go down and like the video, mate. As I said, 1,000 likes, 50.90 for the Weenie. Definitely not for me, mate. We don't want the 50.90, but please get the likes. I want it so bad. I mean, get out of here, mate. Me and the Weenie love ya. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Goodbye.